What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Sobacksports podcast. And we're so back with another episode. And we are just about a couple of days off from watching playoff football for the 2024-2025 NFL season. But there are some news and stories and headlines that have come out regarding the Chicago Bears and a lot of other teams as well for their hiring process. Because while the playoffs are going on, it does open the realm of possibility for teams that didn't make the playoffs to find their new head coach. So, obviously, we alluded to that in the previous episode for the Chicago Bears. So, I mean, let's just get right into it when it comes to, the Bears and how they had their press conference early on with the McCaskies to end the season. George McCaskey, Ryan Poles, and Kevin Warren. I think Kevin Warren did. I don't think actually no. I think it's just Ryan Poles and George McCaskey were talked to the media.
No,
And
Kevin Warren did. Kevin Warren did.
oh, he did. I don't remember. Oh, I don't. Oh, he did. Oh yeah, about
Yeah.
Arlington Heights, right? Um, but there's a lot because it feels like this organization continues to show levels of incompetence while also showing signs of progress because like nothing that like George McCaskey said really assured me. Yes, he took responsibility for the failures of this season and but it kind of came off as pretty bad on my end because dude literally said that he was more concerned about the Lions selling out the stadium than to sell the team chance because he knows damn well that he's not selling the team right now. At least I think so. But also, his concern is on the fans and pushing all the blame to the fans for not showing up when the product on the field is absolute trash. And then Ryan Poles and his press conference also mentioned, you know, asked some softball or got asked some softball questions about Caleb Williams' progress, head coaching, and what it is to the future of this organization. So my thing is, I came out of listening to all those press conferences with the same way as I've done for the past couple of years. Same, uh, what is it called? Word vomit. Same stuff that it has been reiterated for years. But I just don't think until I see the changes happen, like personnel wise, and making the right softball easy decisions, I have no reserves. But I talked in long enough. You can. What is your take really?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I watched George McCaskey's conference a little bit. But I mean, he did when he said his responses, it felt like it was like scripted. Obviously, he did take some accountability, which is good. But um, I don't care. I don't care if he says, "Oh, I feel bad," like, "Oh, the fans deserve more." Like actions are stronger than words. Um, yeah, and I just think that right now this season it wasn't the best season. Obviously, you had expectations this season. You went 5-12. Next year you're gonna have a fourth place schedule, and it's just like you gotta get this coaching hire correct because you finally are blessed with a quarterback that could be a franchise guy, and he showed a lot this season. And you need to get a coach that can, utilize his strengths and also improve his weaknesses. And one weakness is obviously his deep ball, which needs to improve. And we just need a coordinator that can make creative plays, scheme his like utilize every weapon that the Bears have. Like I want to make sure that Cole Kmet gets some receptions. I want to make sure like every skill player on this team deserves targets, deserves to be utilized, and we just need a creative head coach. And whether that's Ben Johnson, whether that's Mike Vrabel, whether it's whatever coach we get, they need to make sure and maximize Caleb Williams' quarterback development. That's what I care about. I don't care about who we interview. I mean, obviously we want Ben Johnson. I mean, the fans want it. Everyone in Chicago wants it. But if it's not Ben Johnson, I want a coach that is going to push. Obviously the players want that. They push the players to play some good, meaningful football. And I want to see a better product out there, right? This season we saw a lot of passionate fans out there. We went to a game, obviously. Soldier Field is always gonna be packed. Obviously, it's just we're so loyal as fans. But we're also sick and tired of the product that's been put out there. So obviously, this head coaching, this offseason is very, very important, and everybody in this front office, whether it's Ryan Poles, whether that's George McCaskey, whether that's Kevin Warren, Ian Cunningham, every one of them has to be held accountable and make sure they make the right decisions. Because if they screw up this offseason, it is over. We're gonna be screwed for the next 5 years, and we might have ruined another quarterback. So again, it's very simple. You gotta get the coaching correct. You don't get the coaching correct, it's game over. It's basically game over. You got some wins. You got some wins earlier this season, but going on a 10-game losing streak was just unacceptable. And a lot of those games you could have won. So again, get the coaching hire right. And I don't care if they interview 15, 20 people. Make sure whoever you hire is the right guy. And obviously, and there was a big question like, should Caleb Williams get some input? I think he should get some input, but not all input, because again, he's a rookie, and you can't really just base it off of a guy who's a rookie. But he should definitely get some input when it comes to the coaching hire. It should definitely be someone that Caleb is comfortable working with, because again, the one of the most important things a rookie quarterback, actually like a developing quarterback, it has needs to have is a supporting coach. So yeah, that's just my soliloquy there. Um, but yeah,
I
just nail
think,
this offseason, man.
I mean, you're right, but I think Caleb should have a decent. Personally, I think he should have a
That's just too
decent
much power, in my
say.
opinion, man. I just feel like it's
I
just too
think
much
it
power.
doesn't
Like,
matter if he's a rookie or not. If he's gonna be your guy, you'd rather have someone. The thing is with the Bears, and here's my thing: the
but no other
common
franchise
theme.
would do that, man. Like
No,
no other franchise, like
usually typical
any
franchises.
normal, no, that's not how it works. Like I literally they don't ask like their players for judgment. They would probably ask Patrick Mahomes or like Josh Allen, who's a proven veteran. You don't ask a guy who's in his second year to like
I'm
make the
sorry,
decision.
right, but at the same time, if Caleb is gonna be your guy and he's shown that, like, and the thing is, the Bears specifically, what makes you think that they're as good? They're good at evaluating talent when it comes to their coaches. So like that's my thing because when
Yeah,
you
you should
look
have
at
some
the
input, not
Bears
all the
and
input.
their huh?
Look, you can't. You have to understand. Even Caleb Williams answered this question. Like he literally answered this. He literally said that I'm in year two. I will literally give them my input, but I don't expect to get a lot of say in who the
I'm
coach
not
is.
saying get a lot
I'll,
of say. I think he should get some say because
yeah, that's what I said.
he's the
That's
one
what I
that's
said.
gonna be receiving
Yeah,
this.
I
And
agree.
the thing is, listen, we can't keep cycling out offensive coordinators, head coaches, and stuff because
Yeah,
in the
I agree,
last
man.
every year, every time when we have this thing, it always bring up the three head coach or three GMs or like no wait, two GMs have been and multiple head coaches, four head coaches, two GMs have been fired, and multiple offensive coordinators have been fired under the McCaskies ownership. There has not been one like like since Lovey Smith, there has not been one common, like multiple year or past 3 years, a coach that never survives, essentially with the Bears. because they
Yeah,
always get it wrong. And that's my thing. When they say they cast the wide net, right? It can be for antics. It can be for, distorting the rest of the league's view on who your real interest is, because we all know deep down that it is Ben Johnson. That's the interest for the Chicago Bears. But I'm worried that, not worried per se, but I'm more concerned about if this net is cast out too wide, where you're going to the Iowa State to request an interview for Matt Campbell your head coach. Like, at that point, you're kind of like, okay, are you really just like doing this for like smoke screens, or are you just really trying to? Because I remember Ryan Poles said, we're trying to be like really go deep into this thing, brother. I will tell you right now, if you go too deep, you're gonna have too many options. Because remember, there's a theory in psychology, the power of having too many options, and it will like confuse you, and it will make you like anxious because you have to make a choice at one point. The clear choice is Ben Johnson. I wouldn't go putting up my net too wide where you're going into the college realm and finding coaches there. College coaches are not going to help Caleb Williams whatsoever. You're not fooling anyone at that point. So,
yeah.
and the
I
thing is,
mean,
if you're having all these interviews just to pass the time, like A, you're wasting the person's time if you're not going to hire them. And B, like, just, if you're going to interview Ben Johnson, then focus on getting Ben Johnson. Like, have these couple interviews, but most of your time should be focused on getting Ben Johnson and not looking at other talent. Because
yeah,
I
for sure.
bet you right now, the Jaguars and the other teams like that have very little chance to get him are going to do anything in their power to get Ben Johnson and to convince Ben Johnson to come, even if their situation is not ideal or not, because they're not gonna cast their wide net like the Bears do, and that's my concern. Because people like Pete Carroll, 73 years old, I don't think he should be in the consideration. People like him, coaches past his prime, like there's a time and place for everything, and his
Yeah,
time
for
is
sure.
over for that. But Marcus Freeman, at the time it like fine, whatever, but he's going back to Notre Dame, thank God. Mike McCarthy requested an interview and he got denied. We got denied for that. So, that's let's focus on getting options in the NFL. And
Hmm.
the one thing that really concerned me about what Ryan Poles said is, I don't know if it was Ryan Poles or the McCaskey. I think, oh yeah, it was McCaskey, George McCaskey, that said aligning a GM and a head coach is not a factor in this process. That is alarming because we know, and the entire league knows, that competent organizations align their GM and their head coach properly. The
I
Bears
mean,
have
let's be
never done
honest.
that. The
Let's be
Bears have never
honest.
done
Like,
that.
he can't. Okay, for like the reason I think why he said that is because they wanted to keep Ryan Poles, and like if he said yes to that, then like he would then it would cause drama on how it's all like, oh, are they going to really fire Ryan Poles? So like I feel like they already made
I
up
never
their
thought of
mind
that.
that they're gonna keep Ryan Poles. So like I don't really like I don't think that's a really big deal because you don't want to like cause issues. Like even like I know Ryan Poles hasn't been the best, but you don't want him to like now feel like, oh wait, is my job in jeopardy now? Like you want him and everyone to be on the same page when it comes to hiring the right coach. So
Right.
I think that's why he said it. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe he actually believes that. It's George McCaskey. We don't know. But that's my guess is that they made a decision already. I think they made a decision like I mean, according to Kevin Rowan, they made a decision like back in week 14 that Ryan Poles is staying. So whether
Yeah.
we went 4-13 or we went 5-12, I think he was gonna stay. So
Hmm.
um I don't really care. I don't think that's really a big deal. But I don't know. Again, I'm just gonna reiterate. Like I'm fine with like I'm fine with them interviewing people. Like, honestly, you know what? Do your due diligence, but at the end of the day, make the right decision. Because again, like it's not that hard of a choice. It's very simple. You give Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel any like I don't know. Mike Vrabel's obviously I really like him too, but you give any of them like those two can both change the franchise. I feel like both of them can. So it's very simple. I don't think you should go to college and go to an inexperienced head coach. I think I'm tired of inexperienced head coaches.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's an exception because his Lions offense is insane, and we all believe that he can be a really good head coach and a leader of men. I don't care about um the college coaches. I don't want coordinators that have not been proven. I don't want Cliff Kingsbury. I don't want any of that. I want a guy that has some experience in the NFL. I'm tired of these first time head coaches. So whether that's Mike Vrabel or that's Ben Johnson, I don't care. Get one of them in Hallis Hall and get him a contract and agree to terms by next week. I don't care if it's Ben Johnson. Okay, you got to wait until you put pen to paper, but you have to agree on something because I promise you, like you said, the Raiders, with Tom Brady, they can easily convince him. Jags, they can convince him. Patriots, they can convince him. So there are teams fighting for Ben Johnson actively. It's not like it's the Bears only. So they have to do whatever it takes to get Ben Johnson on this team. And if that's giving him a big check, you got to give him a big check because at the end of the day, when it comes to building a great football team, you need to have a good head coach and aligned with your rookie quarterback. Now, again, it would be nice to have a new head coach and a new GM. But again, the Bears are not firing Ryan Poles, so there's no point in talking about that. But um, at the end of the day, I'm fine with these coaching searches. I'm fine with them doing the due diligence. But at the end of the day, make the right choice. It's so simple. Everyone
Yeah.
knows the right choice. Man.
And the thing is, what's even crazier is that the ownership just continues to take L's left and right. Um, I'll get to your points soon, but do you know what's crazy? The McCaskey George literally, Derek Stevens, a Lions fan, he pointed out McCaskey and the Bears were happy to sell him a suite when he ponied up cash.
What does that mean?
It means that how George was like mad about the Lions fans, because the Bears fans
Okay.
are selling their tickets. The Lions ended up being the majority of the
Yeah.
fans
Rightfully
attended
so.
that game.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But this dude goes behind and just was like, give me a certain amount of money and I'll give you this suite. And the dude's a Lions fan. It's it's genuinely like just for
Was it
money's
like
sake.
McCaskey when McCaskey sold like a suite to a Lions fan? I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
no, like I know it's not that deep, but it's like it's not that deep because it's selling a suite to a Lions fan. That's not the issue. The issue is that he has an issue with the Bears fans selling tickets to whoever and the Lions fans taking it, but he himself goes and
Let me
as
answer
long
this
as he gets
question.
money, it doesn't matter who
All right.
buys the ticket. Like
Here's
I
my
know
thing. Here's my thing.
it's not a big story, but it's like the underlying issue with this organization and this
No,
front
no, no,
office because it's
for sure.
as long as they're making their quota or meeting their quota of money, they don't matter. It doesn't matter because that's the bottom line, you know? Um so that's just my issue and I think you know,
I mean,
I'm just like Ben Johnson is the right choice. Is the only choice in my opinion because I think Mike Vrabel will probably go to the Patriots because I think he has ties to them a lot better. And Ben Johnson said himself, like, I think that he would, at least from reports, that he would be willing to work with Ryan Poles if the opportunity arises. I don't mind keeping Ryan Poles like that. I mean, it's slowly increased again. I was initially out, but it's like as long as we get Ben Johnson and Ben Johnson's aboard on this, I think he will steer Ryan Poles in the right direction when it comes to the offensive talent. He himself is super talented. And the more players talk about Ben Johnson and how smart this dude is, remember, this dude studied CS plus CS and math, or no, CS and math, and was a walk on at UNC or UNC. Was it UNC or whatever? Like some school. I forgot what school it was. Um, dude knows it was a quarterback, knows the quarterback position, and is a great offensive coordinator. Plus, he's really smart too. And the thing is, a lot of the players like Montgomery, like was on like a, you know, it was like a blurb about him and what he said about Ben Johnson. And dude was like, he makes the game or makes understanding the playbook so much easier to the point where it becomes natural to the players. And that's what you can see on the field when you watch the Lions, right? You see them have fun. You see the playbook be fun. And it's like backyard football, but it's also creative and effective. And that's what the Bears need. The Bears, in general, don't have effective football acumen. And that's what's holding this team back for so many years. Like Matt Nagy in his first year with Mitch Trubisky
Mhm.
got a decent amount of like playing out of him when it comes to his play schemes were crazy. And that's why, but ever since the double doink, something just like went back to like conservative football. And it got to the point where screen passes were the default. And it becomes obvious. Utilizing the screen pass is so effective when it is utilized properly. And I think that's what Ben
Yeah.
Johnson will have to utilize when he comes here. And I really
Mhm.
hope that he does.
Yeah, I mean, I want to like just real quick go back to your McCaskey point, because I wanted to like talk about that. I think it's just crazy. Like, I feel like he's so clueless when he says that. Cause like, dude, you're you're a 4-12 team at that time. Like, I'm sorry, no one is trying to freeze their fuzz off to go to a Chicago Bears game. Which again, the prices to go to a Chicago Bears game is insane. First of all, for bad product of football. And second of all, like you're complaining about, Bears fans selling their tickets, man. Well, if you don't want your fans to, sell their tickets, their season tickets and stuff, well, I don't know, make good decisions for the football team. Maybe I don't know, sell the
Oh, not
team.
even make good decisions. Just stay out of football decisions. Like,
Yeah, literally. I mean, like, I, improve the team. Like, it's so simple. Fans will literally come to the game once the team actually is is a decent team to watch. Like, I'm sorry, like, people pay. It's a product, right? You come to watch the games for the team to win, obviously, and for the team to put out a good product out there. And when the team consistently puts up like stinkers, fans are just gonna lose hope on the team and not go. And they want to save their money. It's the holidays. It's a holiday time. They want to go spend time with their family, go on vacation stuff. They can use their money in different stuff instead of going to a dumb Bears game on on the 22nd of December. Like, I'm sorry, like. It makes sense. Lions fans definitely want to go enjoy it because their team is actually winning and their team is actually like has a chance to go win the Super Bowl, and and their franchise actually cares about their fans. So that makes the most sense. Now, again, what you said about Ben Johnson, yeah, I agree. I think if he comes to the Chicago Bears, he will literally, I think, I hope, obviously, that he makes the playbook more creative, like not obvious. I feel like screen passes, I agree with you. They do work. I see a lot of teams like the Chiefs, the Lions, the Bengals. I see a lot of teams that are very successful use screen passes. They're very, very successful. It's a very good, short yardage technique to get, a lot of yards after the catch. My thing is when the Bears execute it, it's not creative. It's very obvious, and a lot of teams
mhm.
easily know how to how to you know
Dude, not
counter
even
that.
teams.
So
It's like even fans know how. Like fans
yeah,
expect it's like, oh, this is gonna be a screen pass. Watch and boom, immediately.
yeah. So like I'm just saying, and again, screen passes are fine. You implement that. I want the next head coach to let Caleb Williams throw the ball down the field. This year, I don't. I honestly, I'm actually kind of mad he only has 6 interceptions. Because the reason why I'm mad that he only has 6 interceptions this season is because I felt like, and you can maybe be like maybe you can disagree with me here. I felt like he didn't take that much shots down the field, which made it easier for him to not get interceptions. I'm not saying he's not capable of having a flawless game and throwing it down the field. I just feel like this season we didn't see enough of that because the playbook was very condensed. They did not. I don't know why they did not trust him to throw it down the field, but they will only let him throw it down the field when it's clutch time. And he was amazing during that time. So I just didn't understand why the first 3 quarters they never really let him throw it down the field or throw it past 15 yards. So again, I really, really want that whoever the coach next year to let him develop that deep ball and let him throw it down the field because it'll give him more confidence throughout the game. I feel like if you just only let him do in the fourth quarter, like it's I don't know, it makes the offense a little worse and it makes him not comfortable to the offense. Like I that's what I felt this season. I felt like it's good to see him only have 6 interceptions, but really it kind of might have hindered his development a little bit because we really didn't see him grow when it came to like throwing the ball down the field and attacking. So I really hope next year that they really allow him to do that because that's why we drafted him number 1 overall, right? It's his creative plays, and we saw glimpses of that, but they didn't let him do enough of that. So, whether if he throws picks next season and he's learning from his mistakes earlier in the season and he does that, that's great, and that's all fun and great, So I really want to see the next coach really push Caleb Williams and let him throw the ball down the field, man.
Yeah, it's genuinely been that kind of a tale this season where it got to the point where we have fans that are mad that he didn't throw interceptions. Like, who would
Wait,
have
one sec.
thought? Dude, we find I genuinely think that we find ways to. Oh, you're trying to new lighting. I see. We're trying to
Yeah,
figure.
I'm seeing is this good or not?
No, no, no. Just move it back more. Like in the background.
Oh yeah. I got you.
Yeah,
Good.
but I mean, while you're figuring that out, it's just oh my god, I'm just like because the thing is we won't know until the playoffs are over. Um, yeah, that's a lot better. Oh no, no, don't put the light
This?
in front of me. It has to be like behind your thing. No, like behind your computer.
Yeah, I got you.
But
You
yeah,
keep talking, keep talking.
yeah. I mean, it's gotten to a point where we have to wait a long time, and it's gonna be a while till we find out. Because the thing is, Ben Johnson's officially interviewing with the Bears on Saturday. Um, and he's also interviewing with the Jaguars that day too, because he has time before he has to go to the playoffs with the. No, it has to go behind your computer, like it faces towards you.
Oh, makes more sense.
But there's like a weird like light thing right.
Yeah, let's just. I'll figure it out next time.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we'll
my
figure it
bad.
out. But yeah, I mean, it's at least we have something going. So it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be annoying because you're gonna have topics of discussion about new head coaches that the Bears add to the list.
Yeah.
Um, I think a secret one. I mean, I think a secret or a very dark horse candidate. Say like Ben Johnson's not available, Mike Vrabel's not available, Liam Cohen, Joe Brady, not available either. Todd Munkin.
Uh
No, I get it. I
maybe.
understand. I understand the reservations, but it's not like Matt Nagy because he has experience on multiple teams,
Mhm.
multiple organizations, and multiple times in college as well. And he's developed Lamar Jackson. How helped
But I don't
develop
think
Lamar
Caleb.
Jackson as a passer.
I just don't think Caleb and him are similar, but I mean, I'm open to it. It's not like the worst
No, I'm just saying
situation, but
it's like sleeper pick because it's like
yeah,
if you look at his experience, top down, it looks pretty solid to me. Like if we really don't get our options, he's definitely an option. But
yeah,
that's just
for
me.
sure.
It's always Ben Johnson, no matter what, as
Hmm.
draft day would say. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm just oh man, it's gonna be a long off season, I feel. Because we have to address the offensive line. I really hope that
I think we need to
things
trade
just
up.
I mean, if we do, that'll be great. But it all depends on if we get Will Campbell or not. But
Like
I
I
don't want to
hate
give
the
up too
season, man.
much
Like
to the point where
five, we went 5-12, and we got it's so crazy, bro. This season, like you're 5-12, and you're the 10th pick.
5-12 is the 10th pick is crazy. Yeah, last year we were 7-10, and we were ninth pick.
It's so dumb.
It's kind of crazy how many
So many,
bad teams there
so
are.
many, so many top heavy teams, and so many bad teams too. It's crazy.
No, it's very little top heavy teams and very much bad teams. A lot of bad teams.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
you got even the Bengals competing with us too at one point
mhm.
because they had like 9 wins or something like that. So it's gonna be tough on them. But yeah, I mean, really
Segue.
hope it's yeah. We can segue to you know an important topic, and that is if I can just open it. That's not it. Playoffs. We went over this in the last one. Wait, what?
But that was like
Oh,
brief. They might have some different picks
that's
here, actually.
yeah. I mean, you want to
Okay.
just do like some like headlines, any like matchups that you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
match up? What is your
yeah.
what?
So
Wait,
I
actually,
think.
let me frame it this way.
Mhm.
What is out of all these matchups? Because the Chiefs and Lions don't play yet. Out of all these
Yeah,
matchups for
yeah.
the wild card weekend, what is the one game that will stand out to you?
You mean like storyline wise, or
Yeah, you can be storyline wise. Yeah.
okay? So I'm gonna have to go with the Vikings versus the Rams. I think this is a really really big game because so my thing with the Vikings and the Rams, the reason why I'm saying this because the Vikings like they had this impressive season, right? Like we all thought they would be like a 4 or 5 win team, maybe 6 wins. We thought they were gonna be like the last in the NFC North, but obviously, and we didn't think that Sam Darnold was gonna be like a decent quarterback in this league, right? And Sam Darnold put up some good stats this season, and it's like okay, like the team's 14-3, um, and he, we don't really believe like they're a good team, right? Like we don't believe they're a scary team in the NFL. And this game against the Rams, right? You're on the road. You lost the Lions. Obviously, you don't get home court advantage. It's like really this run for the Vikings is going to be very important for Sam Darnold and the Vikings' future because I mean, if Sam Darnold does not ball out or they lose this round one matchup to the Rams. One that's showing to the league and to Kevin O'Connell, like yeah, you can put up good regular seasons, but when it comes to the playoffs, you can't win. And second of all, it's like, yeah, you can't pay Sam Darnold after this. Like, at best, you can only franchise tag him, right? And that's a big issue for me. It's like for the Vikings, like they're gonna have this whole quarterback controversy. Like, oh, should we pay Sam Darnold? Should we, pay or should we go with um JJ McCarthy, who we drafted 10th overall last draft, right? So it's a big storyline matchup for the Vikings and for the Rams, right? It's like Matthew Stafford. How much more years do they got with Matthew Stafford, right? McVay is
Hmm.
such a really good coach, but you can't lose round one again, right? So this is a really really big matchup for them because the Vikings. Obviously, this matchup also happened Thursday Night Football Week 7, I think. So they have a lot to prove here. I think the Rams, like really Matthew Stafford, I think maybe has like 2 more years in him, maybe. So like they want to get the best out of Stafford. So really these two teams is a must win for both of them. So that's why I think this is gonna be the most intriguing matchup.
I agree. I mean, that's also very fair. Um, I think that the most intriguing one, actually, I have two, one for each conference. I think for the AFC, I'll start off with them. Texans versus the Chargers. And I know this sounds like, a mid off or something like that, kind of. But, you know, with the success that CJ Stroud had last season with the Texans, winning his first playoff game, kind of like, trying his best against the Ravens in his first season, after that crazy rookie season, even in a sophomore slump, obviously in a weaker division, was able to make the playoffs and win the division and look face off against the Los Angeles Chargers for so many years, have been trying to sneak their way into the playoffs. They made the change at coaching with Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh's back in the NFL, and in his first season, took this team to the playoffs. And I think that's really what's really all about. Harbaugh versus D'Amico Ryans, and yes, the Texans are hurting offensive line wise, but if the Chargers somehow pull off a win, like it'll make all those years of suffering that they've had a lot more worth it. Because they've been, they're kind of a butt of the joke when it comes to charging it, or just like the Falcons were falconing it or charging it and whatnot. Like they can, change perceptions. And Justin Herbert as well, like a good quarterback, been trying to help his team, go further or make a playoff push. And they've always come so close, but it's so far. And I think this could be a year that they can win a good playoff game against a pretty decent team in the Texans. And as for the NFC, I think that the Bucks and Commanders game is going to be interesting. Sole purpose is the Buccaneers, back-to-back seasons with Baker, and both of them are playoff appearances. The Bucks won the division back-to-back years, right? Was it back-to-back years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the third seed, and they're facing the Commanders, who is with their rookie quarterback, their new head coach, their new offensive coordinator, their weapons, and all that. A young team per se made the playoffs, and I think this is their first time since 2020 when they had Taylor Heineke at the quarterback position. Um, and what
But here,
what's crazy too is that was also the
yeah.
wild card round back then when it was the NFC least. When the Commanders won the division that year, and they faced Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So it's kind of like a rematch too, if you remember that. Um, but with two different quarterbacks, and
I mean,
Baker
here's my thing
versus
with that one.
yeah,
Yeah, so here's my thing with that one is like it's a good matchup, but I don't think it's like for me like both these teams like overachieved in my opinion, right? Like I mean, coming to the season, I thought the Buccaneers like I mean, actually I don't know, the Buccaneers if they lose like it doesn't really matter because they've won the division twice in a row. Like Baker Mayfield has proven to be their franchise quarterback. They're out. They don't have Chris Godwin playing. He's injured. Like they've really like overachieved the season with the circumstances that they had. Baker Mayfield's had a really good season, and then with the Washington Commanders is like I don't see it like made the playoffs, but do we really see them going this far? Like, let's be honest. Like the Commanders were the second overall pick in the draft. They had one of the worst offensive lines last year, and they addressed that in the free agency, but they didn't go that crazy with it. Jaden Daniels has overcome a lot this season. He's elevated his talent around him. It's like if they lose, like they're not gonna lose faith in Jaden. Like Jaden's in a second season, so I feel like this matchup is it's a really like a not must win for either one of them because I'm being honest, like the Bucks, if they lose, like they're fine. They're gonna have Godwin back, Mike Evans is gonna be back, like Patricia Worth's gonna be there, like they're fine. They still got some money in free agency to spend, and then for the Commanders, like they're a very young team, like they can very well win the division next year. Like they're that talented of a team. Like mind that Jaden Daniels pulls a CJ Stroud and regresses, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Because I think CJ Stroud was a little different because I I when you said like the Texans versus the Chargers one, like I don't really think they're both good two teams, right? Like
I don't think so either.
I think the Chargers are a better team.
Hmm.
And the reason why CJ Stroud has been like slumping is because his offensive line's been really injured this season, right? And he lost Stephon Diggs. Now he lost Tank Dell. Um, so really he lost two of his three best wide receivers. And Dalton Schultz is a good tight end, but he's your number two option now. Nico Collins is always he's going to be covered by the best corner of each team. He's going to get doubled. So really, CJ Stroud with a bad offensive line, and Joe Mixon has not been himself for the last 3 weeks. The last 4 or 5 weeks, he's not really put up good numbers. So really, with a bad running game, wide receivers getting injured, offensive linemen being banged up. Really, CJ Stroud has really struggled, and I still think CJ Stroud is a really good quarterback. But I mean, I don't really expect him to make this a good game against the Chargers. I think the Chargers defense is going to go right at them. There are going to be multiple sacks on him. Like I feel it's going to be a very ugly game in Houston. So I mean, I do agree with you. Like for the Chargers' sake, they do need to win this because Herbert's only one playoff appearance. He did lose 20. He lost a 27-0 lead to Trevor Lawrence. Ended up losing that game 31-30 in Jacksonville. So he choked. And this year, he doesn't have the excuse anymore of like, oh, I had a bad head coach. Like you have Jim Harbaugh. You have Jim Harbaugh. You have a good run game. You don't have the best receivers, but you're also playing a banged up Houston Texans team. So for the Chargers, it's must win. For the Texans, I mean, you just gotta get healthy next season and regroup and make your team better. Like that's my take on those. But I think all these playoff matchups have really big implications. Obviously, they all have storylines, and that's what makes the NFL really really great. Like every matchup is very important. Every matchup has some storyline to it, and yeah,
I think that you're right. You made me change my mind in a sense a little bit. I think it is important for the Chargers. Totally forgot honestly about Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell getting hurt because those are two big factors in that.
yeah,
Um, and the thing is as well, like Bobby Slowick hasn't been a good offensive coordinator. Texans fans are trying to get rid of him. And I remember last year as well, like Bobby Slowick was one of my choices for the offensive coordinator position, and geez, that I thought Shane Waldron was bad, but like yeah, Bobby Slowick is almost as bad. But I think he's a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, Texans are dealing with their own thing. I think for the Bucks and the Commanders one, I think I still have an argument there because I
mhm.
think not even for really storyline wise, I think the Bucks have it more need to win than do the Washington
Yeah, for
Commanders
sure.
because the Bucks with Baker Mayfield, they need to yield results with the $100 million contract that they have given for 3 years as well. They need to justify it with playoff wins, and a team like the Commanders, who are relatively new, on paper should not lose to the Commanders. They are well executed, are well um experienced team, even with the injuries. Like having Mike Evans still is going to be still really good. McMillan has been a really rising star when it comes to wide receiver. Bucky Irving has been a really good wide running back for them. Uh, Liam Cohen as their offensive coordinator has been really solid, and he's getting interviews for being a head coach in the upcoming season. So there are a lot of things riding on for the Buccaneers this season because Liam Cohen has taken Baker Mayfield's game to another level. And same with Cliff Kingsbury with the Washington Commanders because the Commanders, you would see the Cliff Kingsbury's cliff at with when it comes to EPA
No, for sure,
after
for sure.
after October. But surprisingly this season, he's actually maintained that same level of EPA uh near the
Yeah,
tail end of the season. So Cliff Kingsbury has been kind of like turning heads and like, okay, maybe seeing how well he does in the playoffs, he could be a good head coaching candidate for some
my thing.
team.
Here's my thing with that, right? I think what you said about Cohen, well, I think this Baker Mayfield's just a great quarterback. I think
He
he's a good
is,
quarterback. 'Cause
he is,
because like
but
Dave
scheming is
Canales
needed
left.
too.
No, but Dave Canales left, and he's had a good season. Don't get me wrong; he had a really good season, but I think he's having a better season with Liam Cohen. I just think that Baker's really evolved with the Buccaneers. So I think he's been a really good quarterback in the league. So I don't really think like Liam Cohen goes like the Buccaneers are going to be in shambles. Like no, like I think Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. They already extended Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so like they really are going to have a good team like for the next like 3 or 4 years. I mean, I hope so. But um the reason why I just don't think this is like a I think it's gonna be a fun game, a fun matchup. I just don't think it's gonna be like there's like both these teams are pressure to win. It's because the Bucks have a young team. Obviously, Mike Evans is not that young, but they have a young team. Their quarterback has proven to be a franchise guy. My thing is for the Bucks, I obviously agree with you. The Bucks need to win this game because again, like it doesn't get easier than this. You're facing a rookie quarterback and you're at home, so you kind of do need to win this game so you can at least get to the second round and hope that Philly loses to Green Bay and you get to play the Rams at home or the Vikings at home. But I just really think that like for Baker Mayfield's sake, they win this game because now like here's my thing with the Baker thing is like now the media and everyone are like with Baker, right? And when people put expectations with Baker, he sometimes does not come through. No. I'm being serious. Like I like Baker a lot, but last season everyone took him out. Everyone wrote him off. They're saying he's a bad quarterback. He's done. Put in Kyle Trask, but he proved people wrong last year. Went to the divisional round and almost beat the Lions in Detroit. This season, he's put up amazing numbers. And now the question is everyone's on Baker Mayfield's side and putting expectations on him. He needs to deliver. And I actually do agree with you. Buccaneers must win this game. But if they lose this game and Baker still plays good, I'm not worried about the Bucks' future. That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried
Mhm.
about the Buccaneers' future because I feel like, yeah, Bryce Young is getting better with the Panthers. And yeah, like the Falcons with Michael Penix is getting better, and the NFC South might actually be competitive next season. I still think that Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback out of all of them. And I think they have the best team. And I really like the coach and Todd Bowles and how he operates the
I
team.
don't
And I
like
feel like
Todd
they're
Bowles. Personally, Todd Bowles is a fraud in my opinion. Like, let's be really honest with ourselves, right? Todd Bowles,
mhm.
like, say what you want about him, like the record is not indicative of what he did. Let's be really honest with ourselves, because
I mean
for a lot of
his defense has been fine.
nah, I think his defense has been okay. It's nothing insane because like for what he's been piped up to be is being like a defensive guy. Like even Bucks fans have been saying like, at least from what I've been reading, it's like they're not a huge fan of him as the head coach
Okay.
per
But
se.
I still
But
think that the Bucks. I still think the Bucks, even with that, are still the best team in the NFC South. Like,
yeah,
but it would be nice. Obviously, every year, every team, even the Packers, even the Broncos, like even the 7th seed, they all want to win the Super Bowl. Like, you only get so many chances to win the Super Bowl. So obviously, you kind of want to win.
right.
But like, I'm fine with like if the Bucks lose, I'm not worried about their future. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
worried about it. I still think Baker is a good enough quarterback to like take them to more playoffs and get some success later on in his career. So that's
Yeah.
my tip. But you
So
wanna you
wait,
wanna give her like yeah, sorry,
so
what's up?
like if so, I always get this receding thing wrong. So say like the Ravens win and the Bills win. So is it like the highest seed faces the Kansas City Chiefs and the other two face
No,
um
the lowest seed, the Chiefs and Lions will play the lowest seed.
that wins? So like
Yeah,
let's say the Ravens, the Bills and the Chargers.
yeah, Chiefs will
Um
play Chargers.
Chiefs will play the Chargers. And okay. Oh,
Now
so
you
that'll
want to
be
do our predictions real
interesting.
quick, like our official final predictions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that,
Okay, you want
I
to
have a
go?
sleeper
Okay, let's
prediction.
do.
I think that the Rams beat the Vikings.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Actually, no, I don't know.
I got Rams. I got the Rams beating the Vikings. I think the Vikings. I think Sam Darnold would like he's gonna fold. Like I
No,
genuinely think
I,
he's gonna
I
fold.
actually I can't. I can't do it. I think I'll take the Vikings over the Rams, but it will be a very close game, and then the Vikings lose to the Lions.
The Rams don't
Um,
lose close games, but yeah, I mean they don't lose close games.
if the
But
Rams like keep it to how they faced against the Bills, I think they'll be fine. Um, they can possibly win that. I want the Rams to win personally. Rams, do me a favor and win. I'll be really happy. And if you
it's
can
okay.
beat
He's
the
about to.
Stafford, sorry, beat the Lions too, that'd be amazing as well. But I doubt it.
Mm.
Um, oh wait, no, it doesn't have to be the Rams either. Okay, so that's only if the Rams will only face the Lions if
Wait,
like
how about this? Let me share my screens. I'll just do the official predictions. I have the NFL thing. So yeah, I'll share my screen. I have the official bracket. NFL Super Bowl challenge. I'm just gonna do this. Okay, let's just do our predictions real quick. I don't care about. Oh my god, I don't care about this. My bad. All right, there we go. I don't. Why does the NFL care about my username, man? Um,
it's whatever. Let's use what I have then. Because
no,
it's
no,
not
no,
gonna let.
it's fine, it's fine. I got it, I got it. Here, let's do this. Okay, let's do this one. Okay. Um. Okay, you want to start off with the NFC? Okay, so you said okay, so we did Vikings Rams. So you got Vikings, I got Rams. So um, whatever. Okay,
Then I'll take the Bucks, and
you
then
got
I'll
the
take the
Bucks.
Eagles.
I think okay, so Bucks Commanders gonna be interesting. I got Bucks. I think Eagles Packers. Jalen Hurts, by the way, is practicing. By the way,
Hmm.
so I think Jalen Hurts will play this game. If Jalen Hurts plays, I got the Eagles. So yeah, I got
But
Eagles. So
I
it'll be
honestly, for the Bucks Commanders game, I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Washington Commanders win this game. Like at all. Like I can see them riding this
I would
momentum.
be I would be very
Like
surprised.
I could see them riding this insane momentum that they have with Jaden Daniels and all the hype
Nah,
and him delivering in the playoffs. I think that
no
there's
way.
like Dan Quinn is a
I just
veteran when it comes to this situation.
playoff
And
choker, man.
yeah, but like I think that you
Last year
know,
with the Cowboys too, like he choked. Because he was a defensive coordinator last year, and they put up 48 points. They let the youngest team in football, Green Bay Packers, in Dallas, put up 48 points. I don't really trust Dan Quinn. I think the Bucks. I think Tom Bowles has been there. I think Baker Mayfield's been there. I think the Buccaneers win this easily, man. I think it's not. Even, it's
I
gonna be
want the
close.
Bucks to win, but
I
I
think it's gonna be
think
like
that I
30.
wouldn't be surprised if
I think it's gonna be
this is
31
insane
20.
momentum, and I think the Bucks will just make mistakes here and there. Um,
Maybe.
but I don't know.
Um.
I want the Eagles to win. But yeah, I think the Eagles can win this game.
Okay. You got okay. We did the NFC side. I mean, yeah.
Chargers.
You want to just do this week's? You want to just do this week's?
Just only let's only do this week's.
Okay, for sure. Okay, Chargers, Texans. I'm gonna pull the upset here. I'm gonna go with Texans here. I think the Chargers will Charger.
Mhm.
I got CJ. I got CJ. As bad as season he's had, I think he goes in the playoffs and shows everyone why he was the best quarterback in the class. So, um, I'm gonna go with CJ this
Yeah.
one. I'm going with Texans winning this one. Close
I'm
game.
going with the Chargers because I think the Chargers can easily win this game.
You got Chargers. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
fair pick. Um,
Steelers,
Ravens,
Ravens.
Steelers. Okay, so guys, there's a chance. I'm not sure there's I don't know if my sources are right. There's a chance that Justin Fields might start this game.
There's no way he's starting, dude. I'm sorry.
There's a
There's like
chance. Mike Tomlin said there's a chance.
there's no
Russell
shot
Wilson
they're
has lost
gonna
4.
there's no shot that they're gonna start their backup like right now over Russell Wilson right now, who's been playing recently. Justin hasn't played in a long time. Like Russ is not hurt, so he's gonna be playing. If
I didn't
I'd
think
be,
that like
there's no
you're
way.
not winning this game. You're not winning. You're 9.5 favorites. No, you're not favorite. Like underdogs. Why not? Why not?
I
If
mean,
I'm the
they're gonna
Pittsburgh
try.
Steelers, what?
I feel like they're just phoning it in.
You put in your backup. They're not going to be able to scheme for him. They're not. You put him in the game time situation. You put in Justin Fields in. Might change something there. Might. Russell Wilson has not worked out. I mean, like the last 4 games when he's played comparable teams, he's been terrible. Terrible is an understatement. He's been garbage. So maybe, but okay. Let's just assume they put Russell Wilson. I think the Ravens destroyed the Steelers, 31 to like 10. Like I think the Steelers it's done. I think when the Steelers lose, Russell Wilson will no longer be a Pittsburgh Steeler. They're going to have to either go with Justin Fields next season or they're gonna have to go in free agency and get someone. But I feel like you should go with Justin Fields. He's been in your system. He went 4-2 with you. Like it makes sense. So that's my prediction. Obviously, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ravens win easily. I think this is just. I think the Lamar has gotten over the Steelers. Like, I think the Steelers are very low right now. Um, yeah,
You can
I
say it.
think
You
this
can
is
say it.
good.
The quarterback sucks. You can say it. The quarterback sucks.
The
He's
team also
horrible.
kind of sucks too, along with it. So,
Yeah,
um,
but like people. Okay, here's my thing with the Steelers. It's like with fans saying that. Like I'm not saying you're a fan. It's like you you can't be saying that like oh like when the Steelers were like 4-2 like oh we're such a great team and now when and like oh we're playing mid with Justin Fields but then when you put in Russell Wilson it's like oh yeah we're not that good of a team actually like our team's not that good like you can't say that like you either have to be from the start like oh we're just lucky in winning these games and like we're a mid team or like you I don't know it just I feel like they're very inconsistent when it comes to that like
yeah,
you
it's
have to
fine.
either
It's
say
the
like, "Oh,
NFL.
what do you mean?"
Like, it comes like that. Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can the Steelers like they were riding the coattail? They were 4-2 as a team, being like winning games defensively, destroying teams with their defense and playing good offense. And then as soon as Russell Wilson takes over, like okay, yeah, they're winning games. And now this bad stretch of football, they played the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. You lose all 4 of them, and Russell Wilson has been a big issue to all those losses. And now we're saying that oh, the team around Russell Wilson is not that good. Like, how does that make any sense? The team was 10-3. If your team is 10-3, it's a good team. It's a good football team. It's you can't just say, "Oh, it's not a good football team" just because we're losing. You can't say that. It's the quarterback's fault. It's also the receiver's fault, but it's also coaching. You got to put all of them into perspective right there. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay. Bills and Broncos to end it off.
I got Bills
I like
easily,
the
man.
Broncos a lot, but I think that the Bills are just ready. I think the
It's in
Broncos are
Buffalo
too
too.
young. Yeah, it's in
It's in
Buffalo.
Buffalo. It's like Bo Nix. I mean,
Honestly,
look,
yeah,
Sean Payton has playoff experience. It's just I don't know if Bo's ready for this moment. That's why I think Jaden's not ready for this moment. Like this is a playoffs. CJ was ready for it last year, so I don't know. But CJ was also playing
yeah,
Joe Flacco, so like
that's also true.
I don't know.
It was the Browns too.
And CJ also
Yeah.
had a playoff home game too. Both these
Mm,
rookie quarterbacks are going on the road too, in a playoff
right.
environment. So it's
Hmm.
going to be a tough matchup for both Jaden and Bo. But I hope maybe they put up a good fight against these teams. But I don't expect them to win as underdogs
I
too.
agree. All right. That's going to do it for today's episode of the Soul Back Sports podcast. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. If you made it this far into the episode, be sure to tune in every Tuesdays and Thursdays for new episodes. Always remember to like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, with the playoffs rolling around, there will be potential streams that could happen. That's game time decision for that. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one.